Russian spy ships spotted off Delaware coast. The Putin-Trump bromance might soon be put to the test, as various provocations by Russia have some officials pushing for new boundaries to be set. A Russian spy ship was seen patrolling in international waters off Delaware Tuesday, working its way up the east coast from Cuba. The Viktor Leonov is equipped with high-tech equipment capable of intercepting signals intelligence and is armed with surface-to-air missiles. Similar missions were carried out in 2014 and 2015, though such patrols were supposedly more common during the Cold War. Authorities say the Russian vessel is not seen as a threat, though they are keeping an eye on it. Officials confirmed on the same day that Russia had also deployed ground-launched cruise missiles banned by a 1987 treaty. Russia now has battalions of the prohibited missile at 2 locations in the country. The 2 incidents come just days after 4 Russian jets conducted dangerously low flybys over a U.S. missile destroyer in the Black Sea.
YouTube's ad policies are killing creators, but you can help. Be a hero at patreon.com/TomoNews.
This isn't the first time the U.S. military has bumped heads with Russia in recent years.
NORAD scrambles fighters after Russian bombers seen off U.S. west coast. NORAD scrambled F-22 and F-15 fighters after Russian long-range bombers were spotted 50 miles off the California coast earlier this week. 4 Russian Tu-95 Bear H long-range strategic bombers and a refueling tanker were first seen entering the Alaska Air Defense Identification Zone at about 4:30 p.m. After 2 F-22s made visual contact with them, the bombers left the ADIZ and headed west. 5 hours later, 2 of the Russian bombers were detected again and identified within 50 miles of the California coast by 2 F-15 fighters. The ADIZ extends approximately 200 nautical miles seawards from the U.S. coastline. As part of training missions, Russian planes have flown within the ADIZ dozens of times over the past several years.
Russian jet buzzes U.S. destroyer in Black Sea. A Russian fighter jet made multiple close-range passes near a U.S. warship in the Black Sea at the weekend, the Pentagon said on Monday, amid rising tension in the region between the US and Russia over events in Ukraine. The Arleigh Burke-class destroyer USS Donald Cook was sailing in international waters off the coast of Romania when the Russian jet, reportedly an Su-24 Fencer, made its first pass of the ship. The Pentagon spokesman said the jet passed within 1,000 meters of the ship at an altitude of around 150 meters and made a total of 12 passes during the encounter, which lasted around 90 minutes. Multiple US attempts to make contact with the pilot were ignored. Reports said that a Russian Navy frigate had also been shadowing the US warship, which is now at port in Romania. The spokesman added that Pentagon officials have yet to discuss the incident with their Russian counterparts.
Russian fighter jet flew within 100 feet of US surveillance plane. A Russian jet flew dangerously close to a US military plane in an April flyby that a US official described as straight out of a movie. The incident occurred during a routine US mission in international airspace over the Sea of Okhotsk between Russia and Japan on April the 23rd. The Russian Su-27 flanker fighter jet intercepted the US Air Force RC-135U plane, flying within 100 feet of the nose of the US aircraft. The Russian jet also turned its body so the US crew could clearly see its missiles, a Pentagon official said. Reports said that US Defense Secretary Chuck Hagel and Russian Defense Minister Sergei Shoigu discussed the matter in a phone call on April 28th.
Say no to safe spaces on YouTube. Support Tomo News at patreon.com/TomoNews. Russia plays a dangerous game of chicken with the US. A Russian fighter jet got too close for comfort when it intercepted a US Navy spy plane over the Black Sea yesterday. US defense officials labeled the move unsafe and unprofessional and warned it could escalate tensions between the two countries. The US and Russia are at loggerheads over Syria and the Ukraine, and this latest flashpoint suggests they're unlikely to be on good terms anytime soon. The US Navy spy plane was buzzed by a Russian fighter jet as it flew in international airspace over the Black Sea. At first, the Russian jet maintained a distance of about 30 feet. But then it got within 10 feet of the US plane, and that's what got US military chiefs so pissed. The US pilot tried to contact the Russian jet, but got no response in what was a nerve-wracking 19 minutes. Russian defense officials admitted sending fighter jets to intercept the U.S. plane. They claim the U.S. aircraft was close to the Russian border and had turned off its transponders, which are needed to ID the plane. Looks like the temperature just dropped a few degrees in America's new Cold War. Russian fighter jets play chicken with U.S. warship. Russian attack aircraft flew within a stone's throw of a U.S. warship this week in what experts are calling the riskiest military encounter between the two countries in years. Two unarmed Russian Sukhoi Su-24 fighter planes flew dangerously close to the USS Donald Cook on Tuesday in what some are calling a simulated attack. One jet came within 9 meters of the vessel while flying at an altitude of 30 meters. An Allied helicopter, reportedly Polish, was refueling during landing drills at the time. Officials say one of the unarmed aircraft flew in an attack profile, and that one flew so close, it created a wake in the water. They're believed to have made 11 passes in total and did not respond to safety advisories from the vessel. A Russian Ka-27 Helix helicopter also reportedly made 7 passes around the warship, taking pictures. The U.S. vessel was located some 70 miles from Kaliningrad at the time of the encounter. A small Russian enclave, Kaliningrad sits between NATO allies Lithuania and Poland. The encounter comes amid escalating military tensions between the U.S. and Russia following Russia's annexation of Crimea in 2014.